Hey, good morning. You can kind of see the pink sky behind me. 7:10 a.m. I'm here for a 7:15 check-in. Get ready for my CT scan. As per usual, just a tad hungry, but feeling passed as it does, so yay. So get ready to drink some water. Here's the waiting room. Got some cute plants up there. I'm the only one here. Checked in. Where's my finger? I checked in over there, and I had to come around that wall. Be heading through that door when they call me. Alrighty, I'm back in a room. I've got my contrast. Bottle 1 of 2. It's not bad. This one actually really doesn't have a taste. I was surprised. I forgot to bring my liquid IV in here with me. But I had a gentleman nurse, and he said to me, he goes, "Oh, you're not going to taste it. It'll be fine." And I'm like, well, I'm like, oh yeah, it's not bad. So yay me. And bonus, he knows how to do the port. He knows how to use it. And he said he's training everybody here so that they'll all know how to use it too. So for any future appointments, they'll be able to access the port. Yay! Not try to poke my veins, which I haven't had a problem with here, but it's always just better as long as I've got the port that they can use that. So that makes my day a little bit brighter. Here's the room I'm in now. So there's my other bottle. A couple extra chairs. The bathroom. Then I'll be going into that room, I guess, changing into a gown for them to access my port. Alrighty, the CT scan is done, and I'm home, obviously. It all went well. As I mentioned in the room, the gentleman nurse that I had mentioned that he knows how to access the port. He asked if I wanted to do the port or a regular IV, and I was like, oh, port please, if you can do that. And so he asked when it was accessed last, Friday, and were there any problems? Nope. And he said, okay. And so I told him, I'm like, I'm so happy that you guys can do that now, because my other clinic mentioned that if there was a place that didn't know how to do the port, that they could do the port for me, and then I could go to whatever clinic. And so I was going to ask them today whether that was a possibility. So when I would have my next CT scan in like 6 months, maybe I would do that. And he said, nope, that he knew how to, and he had trained at least one person there, if not a couple, and they were in the process of getting everybody trained. So the good and the bad. It's like there are so many people that have a port that, more people need to know how to access it. More nurses need to know how to do that. But yay for me that they're doing that. That's a heck of a lot easier. It's easier on me to have the port access than again for them to find a vein. Especially I'm sitting there, I'm all cold, and I'm like, oh boy, cold. Haven't really drank a lot this morning yet, except for what they have me drink, but whether that would get in the veins enough that they could find a vein right away. But again, I haven't had a problem, but you never know. So I'm just happy they were able to access the port. And so then the other CT technician, whatever, that took me back, probably the guy was probably a CT tech too, obviously. I had a gal that took me back. And so in the meantime too, because they were going to access the port, then they had me take off my sweatshirt and shirt and stuff and put on a gown. Normally you can wear your clothes for CT scans as long as you don't have any metal on them. And if you don't have any metal, like as far as piercings or jewelry or anything, as long as whatever area they're scanning doesn't have metal, then it's okay. So I could have worn earrings today. I was like, and I didn't. Speaking, I gotta put my ring back on. I took my ring off just in case. I'm like, yeah, normally, you put your hands, well, for my type of scan, I have to put my hands above my head, and they scan the chest and abdomen. But I thought, well, whatever, I'm taking my ring off. But for this one too, so because they wanted to access the port, they figured it would be easier if I was just in a gown. And so I did, put the gown on, and then got back into the room. And then they put the port in right there, which I figured. I'm like, well, I guess obviously they usually just put the IV in there, so why not put the port in the same room? They don't need a special room for that or anything. And she did just fine. I actually kind of saw the needle this time. Usually I don't look at any of that, don't want to know. That needle was kind of long that goes into the port. It was fairly thick. I figured it would be kind of fairly thick, but I was like, oh, no, already. But I did good. Even though I was hungry and whatever, I thought, well, all right. I didn't feel faint or anything, so they, yeah, got the needle in. She kind of shook her head. I figured, okay, yep, that was all working well. It had probably a little blood come back, and she was able to flush it, and it hooked me up to the other IV contrast. So I have to drink contrast, and then they also do an IV contrast. So she very nicely talked me through the whole procedure, which they do at this clinic. It's very nice. With the CT scans, they tell you, every step of the way. Whereas the MRI machine, they kind of give you instructions and they put you in the machine and leave you there. You don't hear from them till the end. So she said, okay, we're going to take those 2 original pictures, and then after that we'll give you the dye, and then we take 2 more pictures. I said, yep. And thank goodness my shoulders are working and they're feeling okay, because again, yep, had to put the hands up over the head, and I was like, oh yeah, the right shoulder is just, it's a little tweaked. So gotta make sure I go do my exercises after this. keep the shoulder going. But get you in the machine, and then the machine tells you to hold your breath, and they scoot you backwards as they're taking one, x-ray, one picture, and then again at that point they said hold your breath, and they got me back in the machine and took a picture. And again, it's just a round like donut that you're in. You're not completely enclosed or anything. They gave me a nice warm blanket when I first laid on the table too to give me. I was like, oh, that was very nice. That was that warmed me up. But anyway, so after the second picture, she came back in and she said, okay, I'm going to put that IV contrast in there, and you've had this before, so you're going to have that feeling like you're going to have to pee. And I was like, yep. So she was, okay, it should be going through, and I'm like, yep, I have that metallic-y taste in the back of my throat. I feel it. I'm like, oh, yep, feeling warm through the chest. I'm like, oh, there it is. Yeah, feeling like I'm peeing. But she's like, okay. So give us like 15 more seconds. We're going to take another picture. And so that was nice too, to know. Obviously it's all timed. They know how long it takes for the contrast to get in your system. They know how long it's going to take to get to whatever organs they need to do, so that they get that picture taken with whatever point where the dye is at. So they did the one picture. So again, then I moved back out. She came back in the room and said, okay, how you doing? How you feeling? And I'm like, I'm doing okay. And she said, okay, 20 more seconds. We're going to take another picture. I was like, okay. And at this point, I could actually feel it in my hands. I could feel warmth in both of my hands. And I'm like, oh, that was interesting. I don't remember that before. But then she left the room again, and we took the one more picture. And then she came back in, and she was like, again, all right, how you doing? I'm like, good. I'm like, thank you for coming in and, always explaining what's going on. And she goes, oh, yeah. We like to do that. We want to inform you guys, what's going on, how long it's going to take, make sure that you're comfortable and can handle it. And I said, well, I appreciate that. So yeah, got me out of the machine and sat back up. She got my port out, and that was it. That was good to go. So now it's just a matter of waiting for a week for the results. So good and the bad of the CT scans. Bad per se, and not so good. Because I've had CT scans before. I know how it goes now. I know how it works. I know I have that contrast to drink, beforehand. This time too, with the contrast that I had, it didn't taste like anything. It was a bottle of water. I had the choice of cold or room temperature, so that was nice. I chose cold. I know I don't have to drink both bottles. He said too, he goes, they have a chart. They go off of your body mass index, and they give you so much fluid to drink because of that. So I got the 2 16-ounce bottles, and I forgot to bring my liquid IV in with me. I had it in the car, and he had mentioned there was no flavoring, and I swear last time I was there 6 months ago that they had flavoring in that one, and I thought, oh yay, because I don't have to bring my own. And this time he said something about a while ago they used to put some flavoring in there, but they've stopped. Or I'm like, okay, fine. He's like, you really can't taste it. I've done it before. And I'm like, eh. And I tasted the first, I took a sip or two, and I'm like, oh, all right, I can't taste it. So again, for me, that's fine, except still, I also just don't drink a lot of water at one point in time. I think my body's gotten more used to it because I had to do it for radiation, where every day I had to drink, you know, that 20 ounces. And so I'm better at it. So this one too, I got down a bottle and a half. So that was okay. Also knowing that, you know, it didn't really matter. And he was real chill, laid back and all that too. He goes, yeah, drink, you know, as much as you can. We don't want you getting sick. We don't want you feeling, you know, feeling bad or anything. Just do what you can. These are just what's recommended, and it helps a little bit, but it's, you know, kind of like, not that it doesn't matter that much, but, you know, as long as you get some in you. So again, knowing that going in is also very nice to know, and saying that, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not a big drinker. I'm just not. He said, oh, just, you know, do what you can. Don't force yourself. I was like, oh, nice. That's nice to hear. And so again, knowing that, knowing I can go to the bathroom. Although the bad thing about that is that, you know, once you break the seal, then you got to go again. So I had gone once, and then they had me change into the gown, and then I went again, and I went back. CT scans are short. So again, it's, you know, in and out. They talk to you the whole time. You're not going in a big tube. So those are all, you know, positives. And what else had I thought of? Like, again, just like I said, knowing what it's all about helps. The not so positive is that my bag fills up right away with drinking the contrast. So on the way home, I could feel some output coming out, and something. When I got home, my bag was half full. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm home now. Go in the bathroom and empty out. So that's okay. And then as far as yeah, the needle poking, I didn't have to get a needle poked in the vein and whatever. It's nice to have this port. I thought of something else. I was going to write them down, and I thought, no, it's okay. I'll remember them. I know what I'm going to talk about. But yeah. So it was good. That's all over with. And that's about it. So I am now I was going to take a shower and change my bag, but knowing that this may still be a little bit active, I thought, well, either I'll take one later in the day, or just tomorrow morning. But I want to get my exercising in, and then I still have to eat my breakfast. It's probably 10, you know, it's 10:20 now. So the usual, I'll get my exercising in, eat my breakfast at 11. And then I want to sit by the patio door. I haven't put the corn back out yet. I took it out yesterday for the squirrel. I'll go put the corn back in there. I'm going to sit in the chair by the patio door there and watch outside and read my book and see what I see. It was about 39 degrees when I got to the clinic, and it was about 44 as I was coming home. So it's warming up. It's only supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be like 59 today. So not bad, but cool enough. Too cool to be sitting outside, but I will sit inside and watch the garden and see what I see. So that's my fun for today. So yeah, that's it. It's Monday. I don't have anything else scheduled for this week. My doctor's appointment to go over these results will be on the November 3rd, that Wednesday. So that's my next appointment, and then I shouldn't have anything again for a while. Maybe my colonoscopy in December, but they're supposed to call me about that and get that scheduled, and so that's off in the future. I don't think about that. Think about today. We'll get through today. We'll have a good one today. So I will, record later this week with anything else that goes on. So I hope you're enjoying your day and things are going well for now. And we'll talk to you later. Ha! I remember what else I was going to say as I'm leaving the table and I see my drink. Oh, the thing with having the contrast in, the contrast in, or the dye that goes through the system in both of them, is that, one, you get that in your system, and that's, so you're supposed to drink a lot of fluids to help clear all that out. So when I was at Target the other day, I had video recorded that there were a couple sparkling water drinks. There was a Fuji apple and a spiced apple and something else, which I don't remember. So Wayne had mentioned that he had seen some of those when he'd been shopping at Pick and Save. He didn't know if there were the same flavors or not, but he remembered seeing the Spindrift. So I told him that when he went shopping this weekend, I'm like, if you find any, buy a case of it so we could try it. Well, he bought 3. So we have, this one is raspberry lime, and I have nectarine raspberry and blackberry lime. So the blackberry lime is okay. These other 2 are kind of like, eh. I guess that's sparkling water. Flavored sparkling water is kind of like the fruit ran through the water, and that's about what you taste. There's not a whole lot of taste with them. And it's carbonated, and the whole drink, so I drank like half of this yesterday. For whatever, I just wanted a little bit of taste in the water, and I wanted to try this one. This was the 3rd one. But so for today, we'll see. I need to get some fluids in me to flush out all the dye and contrast from my system. So, cheers. It's Wednesday. It's like the second 80-degree day, so the pumpkins are starting to shrivel up just a little bit. Granted, they usually do that anyways, but mine's not looking too bad. All the teeth are starting to bend in. But anyways, yeah, Wednesday, and like 80 degrees. So once again, I am in shorts. It's October. This doesn't happen. I don't get it. We've been breaking all records with having the heat. It's also been super windy, so in the garden I've got the pumpkins are blown over and the skeleton heads, so I've had to fix that. I found one of the pumpkins in the yard a couple times. They're just styrofoam, so they're very light, so in the wind they blow a little bit, but they haven't blown away, so that's okay. Anyways, that's it. It's supposed to rain this afternoon, so I figure I'm gonna get my quick walk in now. It's like 4 o'clock. I just had a little bit of, a couple scoops of peanut butter for lunch. I was over at my mom's. I helped her wash up, so we're ready for tomorrow's appointment. So we'll be leaving 9 o'clock-ish tomorrow morning. So, yeah, kind of get ready for that. And I'm going to make us a stir-fry dinner tonight. So we'll have that, and also give her a meal so she won't have to worry about expending energy for that. So we'll save up all that energy for tomorrow, make it to the doctor's appointment. That's what I've got going on. Yeah, so I spent a bunch of time over there visiting, and so I'll get a walk in. And I posted my eyeball cookie video today, so I'll go see if any of you guys have responded to that, and I will respond to you. Appreciate that, and I hope you guys are having good weather and having a good day. And that's it for me for today. We will check in again later. Happy Thursday! Happy Halloween! Got Mom to the doctor's office. So step 1 done. Now, see the doctor, and the hardest part will be getting her out of the wheelchair back in the car. So we'll see how that goes. But we made it this far. She's got to see the world, which she hasn't seen in 2 years. Yeah, so I had to go park the car. Got her dropped off, parked the car. Now we'll go find the office. Good morning, happy Friday. Figured I would do the end of the week update. So I ended with having Mom at the doctor's office. So, long story behind that. Mom had, in 2022, she had a hip replacement surgery in February, and then in August she had an emergency aneurysm surgery, and so it's taken her a long time to recover from that. She does live by herself in her condo, and basically has enough energy to kind of take care of herself, go to the bathroom and back, make her meals, and she sits in her chair and watches YouTube videos and, and some TV, and watches out her window, watches the squirrels and the birds at the feeder. So that's been about that. We've talked about maybe trying to go outside to do whatever. There's one small step that goes out of her house, and it's hard for her to do the steps between kind of having more so like the knee pain, even though the hip surgery is, it went well and everything. She also has a spinal stenosis, so she's kind of bent over a lot when she's walking, and so just doing steps is kind of hard for her. So what we do is we put a bunch of doormats we have outside of the garage step, because again it's one step, but you put those garage mats on there, and then it kind of decreases it by half, and she's able to do the little steps. So we did try that about probably less than a month ago. She was feeling, finally she's been having more energy, feeling better. And we did try going outside, and she was able to make it and felt good about it. And so that, okay, well, maybe we'll try taking a ride, you know, one of these days and stuff. We'll get you in the car, we'll ride around. The other thing being, of course, because if we go anywhere and she has to use the bathroom, she also can't get herself up out of off a toilet, off a normal sitting chair, not so much. Maybe once, again, depending expenditure of energy with her knees and stuff, that it sometimes hurts. So, like at home, she has a rise chair, so she could make it electronically go up and everything, which makes it easier for her to, you know, to get up and do the things she needs to do, and have enough energy to do all that stuff. So, yeah, we were able to make it in and out of the house that time. We said we'd talk about maybe having some rides, and she has noticed some spots on her arms and everything. She has had basal cell cancer spots before, many years ago, having gone to the dermatologist. Probably 20 years ago, because that's about when I had my first, when I had my, I had a melanoma on my arm removed. Because her and Dad were going to the dermatologist and were getting spots removed, and they were the, like the basal cell cancers and stuff, the minimal skin cancer. And I figured, well, you know what, DNA, if they're having that type of stuff, I probably have it on my body too, because I have a lot of moles on my body. And so I went to their dermatologist and asked specifically about a mole on my arm, which he thought was just fine, and he took that one off, he took another one off, and the one on the arm ended up being the melanoma, which is more of a worrisome skin cancer. So at that point in time, figured out that yes, I need to be checked yearly and everything now for that type of stuff, which I was up until I just stopped going to doctors at 50 because I've been healthy. So that's all changed again. So we're back to going to doctors. Which is why going to my doctor again this last time, where they're seeing some spots and things again are fine. Thank goodness my skin has been okay. But a couple of years ago, I think we figured out it was 2019, Mom had a cancerous spot on her face that this dermatologist had actually removed and stitched her up and all that, and it's beautiful. There's no scarring and all that. So she had a spot on her arm that she didn't like the look of. She has home health care coming. The home health nurse looked at that, said, yeah, it looks like it needs to be looked at by a dermatologist. They don't really come to the house to do that type of stuff. So figured, all right, here we go. We got to figure this out. Let's try to make it to the doctor. So she called. Her dermatologist was able to get in to see him, because nicely doctors leave open, you know, a spot or two every day for emergency type cases. And the universe worked it out that we were able to get in this quickly, because she called on, it was Monday, and we were able to get in on Thursday. And so I went onto Amazon and I ordered a 5-inch high cushion that we could put on the wheelchair, because again, if that was kind of our biggest, we figured, challenge, was for her to be able to get out of the wheelchair. That's what we had problems with way back the last time we went out. Last time she was pretty much out in the world, and we went and had a doctor's appointment. And at that point in time, again, she was weaker. They needed a urine sample from her, and then she had trouble getting off the toilet, and then again, ended the appointment, you know, she's, you know, completely out of energy, and we had to get up out of the wheelchair, and we had trouble with that, and thank goodness some other person coming for an appointment saw us and asked, like, do you need help? I'm like, yes, please. So she came and she helped me get Mom out of the wheelchair, which, bless her heart, that was, you know, I'm so grateful. So this time I figured, okay, we'll get a cushion. That should help. So give her a little bit of height, just maybe that little bit of extra. Again, we figure she, you know, one is better, and two, she won't be expending really any energy kind of at the doctor's appointment. We were figuring hopefully she wouldn't have to go to the bathroom. Hopefully it wouldn't be that long of an appointment, because we didn't know if it was cancerous, if they were going to have to cut it out and we'd be there for hours. Because again, hopefully they'd also be able to do it the same day and we wouldn't have to come back. So we had tried a different lift chair for the toilet at home too, and we had that in her upstairs room. So I took that with me just in case if it was an emergency, she had to go use the bathroom. I would, you know, run out and grab that from the car and we would use that. But in any case, that wasn't needed. So got to the clinic, got the wheelchair to the car. She got out of the car just fine. So I haven't got into the car yet, have we? We were at her house. We got her out of the house. We got her to the car. I'm able to park the car perpendicular to the garage. So she had a straight shot from her door that she could just walk right to the car, because I had it sideways. So the door was open. So again, we made it outside fine. It was a little difficult on her knee, hurt just a little bit, but got her in the car. She was able to lift her legs herself into the car and all that. So wonderful. She got to see the real fall colors, and just not out just her window. She got to see all the trees and some of the decorations, and yeah, what it was all about out there. World's still standing. Some of the buildings are, have been torn down, and some of the changes that have taken place. But yes, got to the doctor's appointment, got the wheelchair to the van. She was able to get out of the car. We got in the wheelchair. I put that cushion under her, and wheel her inside to wait for me as I go park the car, which is then I said, I made my little video clip of we made it. And went back in, found the doctor's, where the doctor's office was. So went down the elevator, got to his appointment area. We were there half an hour early because we didn't know again how much time it was going to take for us to get there. But that went well, got us into the office, and I was strong enough to be able to, push her around, which also, again, I'm grateful for, that I could do all this myself. And even getting into some of the doorways are like just wide enough for the wheelchair, so I actually too had to kind of like lift it up and scooch it a little bit, so it was like, I could do that. I didn't feel anything, didn't feel any pulling, stretching on my abdomen or anything, so again, beautiful, wonderful, everything worked out so well. Got her in there, nurse was super nice, taking all her information down and everything, and then the doctor came in, and again, super nice. The nurse had taken notes because we mentioned that it's been 2 years since we've been out of the house. So the doctor kind of said, oh, so how did you, get here then? Did you use transport? And he said, nope, we figured it out. And I was able to get her here and all that. He's like, oh, okay. And he said, well, how about then, since you're here and you have trouble with mobility and that, how about I check you over, the top half of your body? And we were like, yes, please. That was, we were hoping he would have enough time to do that and not just look at her arm and send us on our way. So that was wonderful. He looked at her arm and immediately said, not cancer. So, best news ever. Looked at it, said, oh yeah, it's just a whatever. Because you have two options. I could let it be, and it's just like the bruised part around there, the purpley, when old people kind of get that when they get a bruise, it's all purpley and all that. He's like, that's just, blood under the skin. That will heal. That'll go away. But you'll still have those bumps there. He goes, so I could freeze that for you if you'd like. And she was like, yes, please, that would be good. I was like, okay, so we'll take care of that. Got a notepad out, and he started, writing down, so we'll freeze the spot on the left arm, looked at her back, and there was one spot on her back that he was kind of like, well, this spot here, I could kind of freeze. She's like, oh, that itches. And he was like, oh, and that one's itchy too. He's like, okay, how about this spot? She goes, no, that one's fine, whatever. And he goes, but this spot, she's like, oh, that itches. And he's like, yep, okay, freeze that spot. And then he looked at her other arm, and there was a spot there he wanted to freeze. And then she mentioned, like, on her head, she had either some, like, skin tags or a couple bumps that, again, the home health nurse said, too, that should be looked at. And so he looked at that, and he's like, yeah, this one there and one here. He goes, that one I should probably freeze, too. And I wrote that down, so, again, we wouldn't miss anything. And wonderful. And he, again, so that's it. Okay, he grabbed his little canister of the liquid nitrogen or whatever, froze all her spots, got to the head when he's like, this one's gonna hurt, and he's freezing it, and I'm like, I'm cringing. I just finally had this done once. Now, she's had this done before. She's had some of her spots frozen, and even if you know what it's about, it still hurts. She didn't say ouch whatsoever, but it's like, oh my gosh. And like, I was like, not proud of her, that's not the right word, but like just like, wow, what a trooper, what a, that she went through all this, and no squirming, squelching. No, she didn't say ouch, even on the head. I could see it. I saw that she did, squinch up her face. She was kind of like, as he was doing the head, but she didn't say anything. So I was sitting in the chair and I had that face. I was just like, oh, because he was just going to town on it, figuring, well, he's got to do what he's got to do to make sure that in this one appointment, hopefully he does what he needs to do and they all are taken care of. So, and then afterwards he, said too, he goes, again, seeing as there's a mobility problem at this point in time, I'm not going to have you make another appointment, because usually they do specifically like a year follow-up, but sometimes like with mine they did a 3-month follow-up. He said, we're not going to do any follow-up. He's like, you just make appointments as you see fit, as you, when you need them. So again, So nice. So Mom almost started crying as she was thanking him because, again, this was stressful. We didn't know how this was going to work, if we were going to make it there, if he was going to make us come back for anything. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. They, you know, all our angels all made everything worked out just beautifully. So we're very grateful. And yeah, I got her out of the office to the car, brought the car up, you know, front and all that, got her to the car. So this was the thing. We were like, okay, how's it gonna go? And she made it up first try. So it was like excellent. You know, again, all those factors that she's better, she's stronger, and we had that cushion on there. We didn't expend any energy, you know, within the appointment, and yeah, so we got in the car, and she usually likes to go to Culver's afterwards, you know, get a hamburger, because we don't eat out food a whole lot, not very often, and so that's a good treat. And she loves her ice cream, more so with custard. And surprisingly, she hadn't asked me for it. Normally she does every time. My husband's like, you know, be ready to go to Culver's afterwards too, plan that in your day. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. So I figured, okay, leaving the doctor's office, then instead of turning one way to mainly go home, I went the other way so that I could go to Culver's easier. And she goes, oh, we're taking the scenic route home so I could see more of the decorations out here and whatever. And I was like, yeah. And then we got to a certain area, and where I turned, she was like, oh, hey, it's kind of like lunchtime. There's a Wendy's there. I could go for a burger. And I said, how about Culver's? And she was like, oh, that's what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if that's okay, unless you want Wendy's or whatever. And she goes, no, let's do Culver's. I'm like, okay. So we did. Went to Culver's, and she got a scoop of the flavor of the day, and then we both ordered burgers. And that was it. Went to her house, and all right, you know, I was able to park sideways again because the neighbors' cars weren't there, you know, parked in front of their garages. So again, beautiful. Got out of the car. She made it in the house, and that was easier than coming out of the house. And it was all good. Then she was like, oh, gotta go to the bathroom. So there too, that all held off nicely. So she was able to go at home. And then we, yeah, just sat and relaxed in the living room, had our lunch, had our burgers, and so that was wonderful. Weather-wise, it was wonderful too, because the day before it was really super windy. And then that morning it was fine. It had rained overnight, and there too, the rain had stopped by the time that we got in the car and went to the office. When we were leaving the office, it had just started to light drizzle. So after getting the burger and all that, I think I had to use the windshield wipers a little bit on the way home, but it was fine. And again, getting her in the house was fine. We ate and all that, and then I went home, and as I left, I could see the ground was all really wet. So obviously it had rained while we were eating. Now the sun was out at that point in time, so I thought, yeah, okay, that was good. Got home, and within the hour, like, the wind just kicked up again. It was just like, holy smokes. So again, after a little while, I thought, you know, let me go check the pumpkins outside and everything, because again, the couple pumpkin decorations that I do have are styrofoam. And so once in a while they blow, like the one pumpkin I found in the yard, you know, twice one day. So I went over and checked the garden, and sure enough, one pumpkin is missing. And the other, so I grabbed the other pumpkins, and I grabbed the little skulls that we have, and I put those all in the garage. The bigger decorations were okay at that point in time, and they haven't fallen over at all yet this season, which otherwise every once in a while when we have a windy day, there too, those have fallen over. And one of my big orange pumpkins, one of the years I actually found in our yard, it was, you know, closer to the bush. There too, I think I was coming home from Mom's, and I'm like, what's that orange thing in the yard? I'm like, oh, it's my pumpkin. Those are big plasticky ones, but yeah, so I looked around here, and I couldn't see the pumpkin, and I couldn't see it. It didn't blow across the street. So it was near to when Wayne came home. So when he came home, and he was like, yeah, what you doing? And look, I'm like, well, I told him that I'd taken those things inside, and then one of the neighbor's signs, that witch sign, the one that I'd taken the picture in front of with the neighbor's little blow 'em up little creature, alien or whatever. She also had that sign along her garage that said, like, a witch lives here with her kids or something. That was in my yard. So I picked that up, and I took it back to her place, and I really put it along her place, because she usually has it along the garage there so everybody can see it and read it. But I'm like, yeah, that's the way the wind is coming. So I put that alongside of her place. So that would be okay. Her blow 'em up thing was going, and that was okay. That one wasn't Wasn't down. The other day it was down when I gone by mom's, and I like was around the curb area, and I made sure I put that in her yard. That was, it was still connected to the power cord and all that, so that was okay again, so it wouldn't blow away. But and then I pushed down one of the stakes that she had staked in the ground. The other stake had come out. Put that next to that, so again it was all together. She could find it. Like, okay, it's all good. But yeah, so Wayne and I took a walk, and we looked as we were going down the street. I was looking down the street to see if it had blown down the street, or if maybe it had blown around and into one of the neighbors' areas, sidewalks or something. And I didn't see it, and it's kind of like, yeah, so be it. Again, it's styrofoam. It's a little, it's not as bad. So then when we got back, I'm like, could you take the other ones inside too, please? He's like, oh, they should be fine. I'm like, well. And as we came inside and we're taking our coats off, and whenever I sat down with the computer and I heard a thunk, and I went outside and one of them had blown over, and I'm like, yeah, no, could you please take them in? And he's like, yep, sure, not a problem. So he did. He brought those inside, so our garden area is cleaned up. That was, that, because again, that wind. Saw online that one of my classmates lives in Minnesota, and that they actually had snow yesterday. And I thought, now that's a trick, right? Somebody else put something about with Halloween and how 4 years ago it was snowing, and he put a comment in there, and he was like, this is what I have today, and it was snow. And I thought, yeah, trick or treat, right? That's a trick. And so I looked up Minneapolis, Minnesota weather, and they had their first snow, 1 inch. And I'm like, oh, that's for real. That's not a trick. Mother Nature trick, but not a his trick of haha. Look at that. So it's okay. We don't have snow yet, just the wind. And then today it got cold. We had 80 degrees on Wednesday, and then today it was like 38 when I woke up. We're having a high of 50. But the wind stopped. Finally, last night by bedtime, the wind had finally stopped. So, phew, a couple days of that. So that's all right. I only have my little areas here. I feel bad for the people that really do have the bigger decorations. One of my friends does up her yard really well, and lots of people come see her yard because of all the stuff she has. And she had a bunch of them blow over the wind. She thought she had them staked down well enough. Some things she took some parts off of to hopefully not have it be damaged by the wind, but she had some damage to some stuff, so I feel bad for her. But in any case, that's it. So hopefully you guys are all safe for Halloween. Hopefully your weather was all good. Yeah, no, weather is just being goofy right now in all different places, right? Over in Spain too, they had that flash flood. I heard that they didn't even have any rain. They had all that. So again, prayers are going out to all of those people, that hopefully they're all safe. And then I saw there was a tornado somewhere in England too or something, where they haven't had a tornado in 50 years. And they had one come through. So again, just prayers to everybody, that everybody is just safe and well and okay. So that's it. At the mom's doctor's appointment, that all went well. Everything. I don't have my results yet for my CT scan. Like I said, I have my doctor's appointment next week to go over it, but I did check in my Live Well chart. I did see my blood work was in there. I kind of glanced at it the other day, but didn't pay much attention. And when I went back into it yesterday to see if the CT scan results were in there yet, I did see there was one of the results tests that I hadn't looked at yet, and that was actually the CEA number. So I know that's a number that they watch to tell if, there may be a hint. Kind of gives them a hint of whether there might be cancer cells in the body or not or whatever. So my number was, it said like less than 2, and it has less than 5 is normal. So again, that's a good sign that everything is good. So I'm happy about that. So I'll just keep looking. Like I said, I don't expect results until Monday or Tuesday. Probably Monday. Monday would be a week. So that's that. And then today I've got a friend coming over, and she wants to do movie night. Well, she's coming over for movie night. I mentioned that I was going to have movie night with Mom, and she said that she wouldn't mind coming over and visiting with my mom and also seeing this movie. So we're trying to figure out the movie. We've gone through a couple of them to figure out if we can see them, because we don't have like the Netflix and stuff like that. We have my mom has Amazon Prime. She told me that afterwards. Here, I'm trying to get this cushion for her, and I don't have Amazon Prime anymore, and so I paid extra for shipping. And then when I told her that, when I brought the cushion over, she's like, I have Amazon Prime, and I'm like, I thought you gave that up. We talked about the price of it and everything, and you decided that you weren't ordering so much anymore, and so you stopped that. And she's like, well, I don't remember that, but I want to, should I have it? So we have that option for movies too. So in any case, I'm going to have breakfast as per usual. It's like, my 11 o'clock breakfast, and then run out to the store and just pick up some bottled water and lemonade. And I think there was something else that I needed to do, but then we're just gonna order a pizza for tonight. So that's nice. So my husband will go pick up the pizza so I can be at the house when my friend Randy gets there. And yeah, he'll bring us the pizza, get us set up for our movie, and that should be it. We'll have a good relaxing movie night tonight. So that's it for me for this week. This weekend we don't have any plans. It's November. I gotta change out my calendar on my fridge. I did change out that one, so I don't see anything on there. I needed to update that with my daughter's working schedule, but no plans for the weekend at this point in time. Yeah, not much then this month and all that too. So we'll see what we come up with. What's out there to go do and stuff like that. So while the weather is still kind of holding off, we'll see when that snow from Minnesota is going to be coming over, when we're going to get our first snow. But sometimes it depends. We'll get a little snow here and there, and then not so much. But in any case, that's it from me. As I said, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your weather's well. I hope you're having some fun. Make those great memories. And you guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.